used to want me. I'm gonna let it go, just let it be. Why don't you be you?
Hey guys, I'm in Sonoma now, and we are headed to the winery to have some drinks, some samplings, and I just wanted to start my video now. I'll be taking some videos as we go along. I'm about to head in now, so I'm going to stop recording for a minute, and I'll pick back up once we actually get in.
Annandale State Park, Viacama Mountains, our vineyard falls right there. 37 acres, only 22 of which are planted. Most of the wines come from the estate. However, this is a Chardonnay that does not come from our estate. It's the only thing you'll be trying this evening that doesn't come from our vineyard. It comes from the San Giacomo Vineyard, which is also in Sonoma. Please do not wait for me to finish talking. Okay.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Thanks, Sonoma.
Cheers.
Yeah, thank
you.
To Sonoma, we greatly appreciate it.
Cheers.
So this Chardonnay is a really beautiful, classically done Burgundian style Chardonnay. Our winemaking is a team of two. Ben Kane, who was formerly of Silver Oak, and Toomey Cellars. People like to call him the Pinot Prince because he's a little bit of a Pinot Ingenue. Originally from Australia, he's like a 6'5" wild man who's like at concerts half the time, and then gets in the cellar and super focused and intense and does well at what he does. And then our consulting winemaker is a guy named David Ramey. You may have seen in the stores a white bottle that says Ramey on it. He is, as we like to call him, the OG of Burgundian style winemaking. He is truly who brought the kinds of Chardonnay that you're drinking right now and the kinds of Chardonnay that are popular right now, less buttery than they're popular right now, to California. So this Chardonnay comes from the San Giacomo Vineyard here in Sonoma. They are Sonoma sustainable, which is excellent because we focus very heavily on sustainability. We made about 250 cases of it, which is a large production for us. Begins in cement egg. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that before. That's kind of interesting that when you're tasting it, you may get this little kind of zesty effervescence on the mid palate. That's from starting in cement egg. So it begins what we call native yeast fermentation, which is when things are really active and bubbling over. And then we gravity feed it into oak barrels, where it stays in oak barrel for about 11 months, and then we bottle it. So this is somewhere between your big butter bomb and your bone dry Chardonnay. Very, very classically French in style. We were just awarded 91 points from Wine Enthusiast, which for a winery that's been around for 2 years, we're very excited about that. So I hope you enjoyed this. Sip and savor, and I'll be out with the Pinot in one moment.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So it is super good.
It is really good.
Really good.
I don't get Chardonnay.
Yeah, I get a lot of
Chardonnay.
Chardonnay.
Yeah, it's like a citrus.
So who is like the most experienced wine?
Let's get a minute.
You,
I wasn't in college that
I'm a bit of a wine.
are you a bit of a wino?
Kind of a wine snob.
Yeah.
A little bit.
What do
Yeah.
you guys like
I
to
can tell you
drink?
what I like and don't like, but I can't tell you why.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, when I do things like this, like the difference between like a glass out of a box and this, like I can tell when I'm drinking it, right?
Yeah.
But I wouldn't.
Especially that first
but I
glass.
don't. Yeah. Right.
Pushing the first box. You
Here,
never
you
taste
know
that.
what?
The first box, yeah.
Spots?
My taste buds are.
What do you drink, Jen?
I like almost everything. But I really like
red and white?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I used to be kind of a red whites, but I moved to Georgia where it's hot all the time.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you.
I used to drink a red when it's hot out. So
Yeah, this. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
That was already poured.
My college thesis was in wine appreciation.
Really?
Which is like totally a like cop out college.
know that. No, that's really cool. I mean, it applies way more to adulthood than anything.
Yeah. Really.
Yeah, super fun. So
So,
like paper
Was
was
it like a
on
month
like
ago?
like
Cool.
comparing different
Stayed in
wine
the
regions and
hotel, connected
terroirs
to the
and stuff,
baseball.
which I've
Okay.
totally forgotten all about and don't remember any of it. But I like to drink it still.
Yeah. It's cool.
I feel like I'm more of a red, but I'm starting to warm up to the whites.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I really like. I'm excited to see the Mourvedre on here because that's one of my favorites,
Yeah,
and
it's
you
really
don't find it very often. So it's
Which one,
exciting.
Jane?
The
The
last
last
one
one?
down there. Yeah.
Are you a Morvet fan?
Yeah, I'm a big Martha fan. Yeah, I'm a fan.
We, on our estate, we have, by the way, these little silver buckets, should you need them, are for dumps.
Probably not this group.
Yeah.
I like showing off. It's nice you're not driving. So we have on our estate, we have 9 different clones of Pinot Noir and 8 different Rhone varietals. Have you ever heard the term clone when talking about wine? Yeah. So we'll explain it for those of you that haven't heard of it before. It sounds pretentious, but it's pretty straightforward. Basically, I think of Pinot clones the way I think of apples. You have Red Delicious apples, you have Granny Smith apples, Honeycrisp apples. They look different, they taste different, but at the end of the day, they're all grown on an apple tree the same. Pinot Noir is very similar. There's about 120 different clones of Pinot Noir. Most of them stem directly back from the region of Burgundy in France, which is why they have very French names like Pommard, Calera, Chambertin, stuff like that. And then they also have numbers, which usually means that they can't trace it back within a certain percentage of clonality back to its original. And it gets really complicated, and every time our winemaker tells me that, I'm like, science, I don't understand. But on our estate, we have 9 different clones that we cultivate. All of them are original Burgundy clones that we get through UC Davis. So we planted our vineyard in about 2001, and in 2012, the winemaker who was with Westwood beforehand, he stepped down, and our owner, Carl Stanton, stepped up, and the first thing he did was he brought in Ben Kane from Toomey. This is 2014 now. David Ramey caught wind of the project, was very interested, so David Ramey came on, and the first thing they did is they decided to bring the vineyard into biodynamic farming. So essentially, stripped down biodynamic farming is future farming. We are preserving our vineyard the way that people did farming the way people did for hundreds of thousands of years before the introduction of Roundup, so that we can preserve our vines for generations. They rely completely on the weather patterns. When we had our historical drought a few years ago, it was completely susceptible to the drought, but ultimately what we have are tough little vines. So this is our estate Pinot Noir. I think that this is one of the most interesting in our portfolio. This is an expression of 9 different clones from our estate, or excuse me, 7 of the 9 different clones from our estate. What we do is we hand harvest everything. They tried to get me to do it, but no. I was like, next year. So we hand harvest all of our grapes, and because of that, we don't bring things in block by block like a lot of vineyards do. We bring things in when the fruit's ready. So what we did with these is we brought in different clones at different times, individually barrel fermented every single one of them, and we do that across the board. So we individually barrel ferment every single Pinot clone, every single varietal, and then about 6 months into the fermentation process, we'll sit down and blend it together and decide what's going to be the estate Pinot Noir, what's going to go into our red blend. And the reason we do that is not only quality control, but it also will help isolate what the most beautiful and pristine clones and varietals are coming off the estate. We do those in 100% barrel offerings. You'll see that perfectly with the Calera and the Morvet later down the line. So this is our estate Pinot Noir, 2015, kind of an intense year here as well. Started off with a frost. We picked about a month early, which was unprecedented across the board. When we finally did pick, we had dropped half of our fruit. We had these little tiny baby clusters, which sounds awful, but they're so flavorful. And though we got half the yield and half the production that we expected to get, what we got was a really fantastic, phenomenal Pinot blend, essentially. And so this is the estate Pinot Noir. We do a little bit more of this. We have about 400 cases produced of this out in market, a little bit with the estate Pinot Noir, and we just were awarded 90 points on this from Wine Enthusiast as well. So enjoy.
Thank you.
I like Pinot. Yeah, I do.
I feel like Pinot's my go-to.
Yeah.
I don't always like it though, so I didn't really realize.
So did we
that
skip
there
this
was
the
that
first
much.
Pinot?
They're
We're on the
right.
second Pinot?
Really
Yes,
like-
we're on the estate.
All right. Just making sure I'm keeping track.
Yeah.
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 This one's pretty fruity.
Yeah, it's very
It
fruity.
smells smoky, but it doesn't taste as smoky.
Not yet.
No, it's got a smoky smell, but it's got a fruity taste.
Nice to meet you.
Jane, Kelsey, we're all together.
Megan,
All the other friends down there.
are you a Sonoma?
No, I'm a CA.
Okay.
Curriculum associate. The folks down yonder. You all been in Dreamforce so far?
This is my first year.
Oh,
Yeah. Awesome. So how many of you have actually gone wine tasting before? Ah,
All of us?
You did not like
gross. How many people host private tastings every night?
If you mean open a bottle every night.
That's why I call it private tasting. We're like, this is tonight's selection of whatever I want. It's one of the perks
Thank you.
living in wine country, I think. So this is our reserve Pinot Noir, 2014. So we're going back a year. To be honest with you, we did away with reserve because we feel like all of our wines are reserve. When you're 3,000 cases, it's not much to choose from. But 2014 was our first vintage, so we kind of started off lightly and weren't sure what direction we were going to go in. So what makes this reserve, however, is that it's an expression of two clones from the estate, our 667 and our Pommard clone. So these are fermented individually in barrel for about 10 months, and then they are blended and they get to know each other for an additional 6 months.
Is that enough time to get to know each other?
Yeah, I think so. 16 months? It's enough to like know someone and then change your mind. That's all you get.
Change your mind.
I have to open another
Change your
bottle.
mind. She's shorter than you. Look at that.
Yeah, look at that. You got a little less. Just open another bottle.
And this one, because it's a 2014, it has a little bit more age on it, and you can kind of see the express difference. Though the 2015 that you had before, the 2015 that you had before was intended to kind of be more of a drink now selection, though all of our wines can actually age for quite some time. It's one of Ben's, Ben Kane, our winemaker, it's one of his strong suits is acid structure in a wine that allows it to lay down. So this one we made about 100 cases of, and we have about 20 left, which is usually how it happens. It starts drinking really nicely and then you have none left. Cheers.
Cheers.
That's nice.
So what makes that one different than the last?
All those little words.
Yeah.
Clones. All those little
Yeah, clones.
I would say
Well,
so, yeah.
the bouquet's different.
I'd say a little more risky.
It's definitely got a
Yeah,
different
you use
bouquet.
it.
It's got a